In the realm of cinema, biographical films or biopics have long held a special place for audiences seeking to delve into the lives of remarkable individuals. These films have the power to inspire, educate, and provide insight into the lives of historical figures, cultural icons, and unsung heroes. Even though there are so many amazing biopics that have stood the test of time, the most current ones just don't seem to work for me. One of the pitfalls of biopics is the potential of selective storytelling. Filmmakers face the daunting task of condensing a lifetime into a brief narrative. This requires them to make decisions about what to include or omit. For example, when the film Respect was announced back in 2018, everyone was excited to watch Aretha Franklin's life play out on the big screen. The casting was perfect, and it was due time for her story to be told. A few months before the film was set to be released, National Geographic released their third season of Genius, which focuses on Aretha Franklin. Having never heard of this series before, I was just so confused. I only knew about an Aretha Franklin film, but I was curious, so I turned on the show. When I watched the movie a few months later, I realized that I surprisingly preferred the show. The reason why has nothing to do with the performances or filmmaking. We actually look at the plot of both the film and the show, they pretty much hit the same points. With the show, I thought it could have had a better pace, and with the film, it felt a bit hollow. The sole reason why I thought the show was better was because of time. The first episode focused on Aretha's childhood and a trip to Alabama to sign a record deal with Atlantic. That's it. We get to spend 40 minutes of showtime just focusing on this specific part of her life. Because the series is given 8 hours instead of 2, her story gets the depth that it deserves. The process of converting her full life into a 2-hour film neglects lesser-known aspects and nuances that contribute to a more full and deserving representation of her life. What I also disliked about the film and also the series was how unauthentic it felt. I know that Aretha and her family co-created and produced the film, but if we're being honest, a lot of negative aspects that have been known or rumored about the singer were left out. I mean, she's sort of known for being a diva, and I'm not talking about the fun kind.
Taylor Swift.
Okay, great gowns, beautiful gowns.
When movies and documentaries do this, it feels like we're watching a form of media of that person's persona or representative opposed to how they actually really are. Like a perfect example is like in Notorious when they tried to portray Biggie as level-headed and Tupac as the sole angry and egotistical one. Nah, like who buys that? Respect is not the only film that gives us a shallow overview of a person's life. Some other recent examples include Elvis, I Want to Dance with Somebody, and Bohemian Rhapsody. Because they tried to cover so much, these films felt empty and vague. Attempting to encapsulate the entirety of a life within 2 hours leads to a fragmented narrative that struggles to connect the dots between significant events and character developments. Because there has been a huge evolution of storytelling mediums like streaming platforms and limited series, there are infinitely better ways to tell these stories. Shows like Wu-Tang and American Saga and Mike show the ins and outs of these famous people's lives. This extended format enables the depiction of not only the pivotal moments, but also the everyday ones which collectively create a well-rounded and full human being. If there isn't an opportunity to tell a person's story in TV format, the other way it seems to work is when the story focuses on a specific moment in that person's life. This structure is called a snapshot model. A perfect example of this was Oppenheimer. It worked so well because the majority of the film only focused on 2 specific time points during J. Robert Oppenheimer's life. The first one being the 3-year span it took to build the bomb, and the second one being the trial Oppenheimer faced. I do want to note that at the beginning of the film, they do explore his early career as a PhD student, but that only lasts about 20 minutes. Another great example of this is United States versus Billie Holiday. The film mainly focuses on the popular jazz singer's battle against the FBI over her performing her song Strange Fruit, which is a song protesting the L word of Black Americans. Throughout the film, we see influential moments from Billie's childhood, but the majority of the story follows her life from 1947 until her death in 1959. Formatting the film this way gave us the opportunity to emotionally connect with Billie because the film wasn't trying to rush through all the pivotal moments in her life. It only focused on her battle with the FBI and how it affected her life and career. While these films have the power to evoke emotions and provide glimpses into history, they often fail to deliver a comprehensive and authentic portrayal of their subjects. The evolution of storytelling formats offer help for a more connective and special experience between these public figures and viewers. I want to say thank you for watching my video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. How do you feel about current biopics, and what are some of your favorites? If I had to choose my top 3 favorite movie biopics, I would choose the Josephine Baker story because I've been obsessed with her since forever. The second one I would choose is Goodfellas, which is my favorite movie of all time. And lastly, I would choose Hotel Rwanda because even though I don't watch that film often, everything that happened really stayed with me and it was well done. If I had to choose my top biopic shows, now this one is hard because I feel like TV has been killing it. But if I had to choose, I really enjoyed The Dropout. That was really, really good. I would choose Mrs. America, which is so underrated, and it's so interesting to know the ins and outs and how the second wave feminism movement happened and all the work they put in. Also, what makes Mrs. America so great, even though it's pretty much white feminism, they do touch on how issues pertaining specifically to Black women dealing with intersectionality were basically left out. Another one, if I had to choose, is When They See Us, because that is a movie that stayed with me too. The impact is strong. I knew of the case and the in and outs and how they were wrongly convicted, but just to see it, it's very heartbreaking. So I don't think I'm gonna watch it again, but I will put it as one of my fave show biopics. And then the last one too, I really loved Daisy Jones and the Six. I know they say it's not a docuseries about Fleetwood Mac, but there's just too many similarities, and I know it's a toned down version because I heard that the couple was way more toxic. But that show is just so good, and the complexity of the characters and the complexity of the relationships. I think it's one of my favorite shows I've seen in the last few years. But I want to say thank you so much for watching. Bye.